The year was 1521. Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer sailing for Spain, landed on the shores of what we now know as the Philippines. He claimed the islands for the Spanish crown. Magellan encountered various indigenous groups, each with its unique culture and beliefs. One such encounter proved fateful. Magellan, seeking to assert Spanish dominance, engaged in a battle with Lapu-Lapu, the chieftain of Mactan Island. The Battle of Mactan, as it came to be known, marked the first significant resistance against foreign rule in the archipelago. Lapu-Lapu, with his warriors, fought valiantly, ultimately defeating the Spaniards and killing Magellan. Though Magellan's expedition failed to circumnavigate the globe as intended, his arrival marked a turning point in Philippine history. It ushered in a new era, one that would see the islands drawn into the vast Spanish Empire. Following Magellan's expedition, Spain sent several more expeditions to solidify its claim over the islands. In 1565, Miguel López de Legazpi, a Spanish conquistador, arrived in the Philippines. He established the first permanent Spanish settlement in Cebu and later moved his base to Manila in 1571. This marked the beginning of Spanish colonization, which would last for over 3 centuries. The Spaniards had 2 primary tools of colonization, the cross and the sword. Spanish missionaries, many belonging to Catholic orders like the Augustinians, Franciscans, and Dominicans, played a crucial role in converting the native population to Christianity. They built churches, established schools, and introduced Western education and culture. The sword, on the other hand, was used to quell resistance and maintain order. The Spaniards established a system of government and administration, imposing their laws and customs on the native population. Under Spanish rule, Manila, strategically located on the island of Luzon, transformed into a bustling hub of trade and commerce. It became the center of the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade, a lucrative trade route connecting Asia to the Americas. From the 16th to the 19th century, Spanish galleons laden with silks, spices, porcelain, and other treasures from the east sailed across the Pacific Ocean to Acapulco in Mexico. In return, silver from the Americas flowed back to Manila, enriching the Spanish coffers. The galleon trade significantly impacted the Philippines. It brought about economic growth, but it also led to the exploitation of resources and the forced labor of Filipinos. Manila became a melting pot of cultures, drawing in merchants, adventurers, and missionaries from all over the world. This cultural exchange, however, came at a price, as the indigenous traditions and way of life were gradually overshadowed by Spanish influence. Life under Spanish rule was not without its hardships. The Filipinos, subjected to forced labor, heavy taxation, and land dispossession, endured oppression and injustice. As the years passed, resentment against Spanish rule grew, culminating in numerous uprisings across the archipelago. Among the most notable were the Dagohoy Rebellion and the Silong Rebellion. Francisco Dagohoy, a Boholano chieftain, led a revolt in 1744 that lasted for nearly a century, making it the longest rebellion in Philippine history. In Ilocos, Diego Silong, together with his wife Gabriela, led a revolt against Spanish authorities in 1762. These uprisings, though ultimately suppressed, demonstrated the Filipinos' unwavering spirit and their yearning for freedom. They also highlighted the deep-seated social and economic inequalities that plagued colonial society. Section 5. The Seeds of Revolution. The 19th century witnessed significant changes that would pave the way for the Philippine Revolution. The opening of the Philippines to world trade led to the rise of a wealthy Filipino mestizo class, many of whom were educated in Europe. Exposed to liberal ideas and witnessing the plight of their countrymen, they began to question Spanish rule and advocate for reforms. Among these ilustrados, as they were called, emerged figures like José Rizal, Marcelo H. del Pilar, and Graciano López Llena. Through their writings, speeches, and organizations like the Propaganda Movement, they exposed the abuses of the Spanish colonial regime and called for greater autonomy for the Philippines. Their work sparked a sense of nationalism among the Filipinos, fueling the desire for self-determination. Section 6. A Nation Awakens. In 1892, Andrés Bonifacio, a warehouse worker and self-taught intellectual, founded the Katipunan, a secret revolutionary society. The Katipunan, whose members came from the lower classes, advocated for complete independence from Spain through armed struggle. In August 1896, the Katipunan's existence was discovered by the Spanish authorities. This discovery led to the Cry of Pugadlawan, the event that marked the start of the Philippine Revolution. Filipinos from all walks of life, inspired by the Katipunan's call to arms, rose up against the Spanish colonial government. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the Filipino revolutionaries fought bravely, fueled by their desire for freedom. The revolution reached a turning point in 1898 when Emilio Aguinaldo, a young general, emerged as a key leader. Section 7. Under the American Sun. In 1898, as the Philippine Revolution raged on, the Spanish-American War broke out. The United States, seeking to expand its influence in the Pacific, saw an opportunity in the Philippines. On June 12, 1898, Aguinaldo, believing in the American promise of support, declared Philippine independence from Spain. However, the Treaty of Paris, which ended the Spanish-American War, ceded the Philippines to the United States. This betrayal led to the Philippine-American War, a brutal conflict that lasted for 3 years. The Filipinos, fighting for the independence they had declared, faced a new colonizer. Despite their valiant efforts, the Filipinos were eventually defeated. The United States established a colonial government in the Philippines, introducing reforms in education, public health, and infrastructure. Section 8. A Time of War, a Test of Spirit. The outbreak of World War II in 1939 cast a long shadow over the Philippines. In 1941, the Japanese Empire, allied with Nazi Germany, launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, bringing the United States into the war. Shortly after, Japanese forces invaded the Philippines, which was still under American control. The Filipinos, alongside American soldiers, fought bravely against the Japanese invaders. The Battle of Bataan and the Battle of Corregidor stand as testaments to the courage and resilience of the Filipinos and Americans who fought against overwhelming odds. Despite their valiant efforts, the Philippines fell to Japanese forces in 1942. The Japanese occupation was a dark period in Philippine history, marked by brutality, hardship, and suffering. However, the Filipinos never lost hope. Resistance movements, both armed and clandestine, sprung up across the country, fighting for liberation. Section 9. The Philippines Today. In 1944, American forces, along with Filipino guerrillas, liberated the Philippines from Japanese occupation. On July 4, 1946, the Philippines regained its independence, marking the birth of the Republic of the Philippines. The post-war years were a time of rebuilding and recovery. The Philippines, devastated by war, faced the daunting task of reconstructing its economy, infrastructure, and social fabric. The Philippines today, a vibrant democracy in Southeast Asia, stands as a testament to the resilience and enduring spirit of its people. From the ashes of colonialism and war, the Philippines has risen to become a nation of beauty, diversity, and hope. Its journey through time, marked by both triumph and tragedy, serves as a reminder of the indomitable spirit of the Filipino people and their unwavering pursuit of freedom and self-determination.